Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tuscany and today we're going to be working on the 1890s skirt. So let's get into it. Now I am obviously dressed to impress. So today I'm going to go ahead and print out a pattern that I got from Snail Patterns. It is the 1890s walking skirt, and go ahead and pack that up, take it to my sister's and put it together there, and just have a really chill day cutting out paper and taping it together while playing with some cats. Okay, hi. It's been a good 4 months, 4 months since I've touched this project, mainly because I just got sidetracked by other projects. Anyway, I still need to cut the pattern pieces out, and then I need to cut the mock-up fabric out. So I still have a ways to go on this project. So I guess I should get started. I've got a zit. Not happy about it. Okay, so I know that when it comes to sizing, I'm usually between an 8 and a 10, maybe, possibly, sometimes. It depends, and that's why I've been making my own clothes, because sizing is a bitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the waist of the pencil skirt pattern that I made in February? And kind of gauge that against the pattern here, because the pattern sizes are actually a little off because it's assuming that you're putting it onto a corset. At the moment, I do not have a corset. I don't necessarily plan to wear a corset with this. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and just measure it against my natural waist without a corset and just do it that way. Maybe I can try to figure out a way to adjust it. Maybe I'll even put elastic into it. I know. That's just blasphemous. I'm sorry. Alright, I've got scraps of paper everywhere, but pattern is cut out. And honestly, that was kind of a terrifying process because I didn't want to get a paper cut. I think I need to iron this paper down and tape up some of the edges just to get a better idea of what I'm working with, and then I'll go ahead and start cutting out in the mock-up fabric. There are some fires around Portland right now, and it's causing the sky to go a little orangey, which you can't really see on camera, but it's casting this strange orange glow throughout the apartment. It's kind of freaking me out. Gotta listen to some lore with some spooky weather outside. Oh yeah, this is gross.
Everyone in the neighborhood looked at him with a bit of caution. A local couple named George and Priscilla Bollick. But almost right away, they decided to rent it out, to let someone else run the day-to-day business while they manage their...
Alright, I got a little excited and started cutting the dart open. So that was stupid. This is just a mock-up though, so I'm just gonna tuck that in and I'm gonna deal with it. It'll be fine. Alright, so now I'm going to the back part of the pattern, and you can see it says to lengthen along these lines, but it also says to basically trim the pattern here for the back train. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the directions because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Alright, so for the back piece, all I need to do is extend the fabric or the pattern out when I place it on the fabric 23 inches. I don't think my fabric is going to be wide enough for that. But it's just mock-up. It's okay. So I'm going to figure that out. The skirt was, or this portion of the skirt was a little too wide, so I had to add a little bit of fabric. So now I gotta cut that out. Guys, this is so much fabric. No wonder people only had like 2 or 3 dresses back in the day, because seriously, this is a parachute. Hello, the skirt is put together and it's going fairly well, but the problem that I'm having right now for the most part is that I can't get a really good feel for how it looks in the fabric that I'm using, because the fabric that I'm using is a very light, very thin cotton mock-up fabric. So being able to see how it would actually look in the final fabric, which is going to be a hell of a lot thicker, it's difficult. And with these kinds of skirts, usually the structure and the stiffness of the fabric is kind of what makes the skirt. So I was initially trying to be lazy with this mock-up process and not add a layer of fabric around the base of the skirt, which is common for these kinds of skirts, to add that structure and the floof along the bottom. Words. And I was just trying to not have to add that because I really wanted to be lazy. But I think I've decided that I need to add that to actually get a feel for how it's going to look and if it fits me the way it should with that structure added in. Now I was going to show you guys what it's looking like, but my camera has decided to have some issues with focus. So I am going to try and figure that out while I add in that extra layer on the bottom of the skirt. And hopefully all things will be well in due time. I really need to get my scissors sharpened. Okay, I am actually put together like a human being, which is new, and it won't last long. Now the skirt is put together. I am actually really happy with how it's turning out. It fits me, which is great. There are a couple things that I want to tweak. That's what mock-ups are for, but for the most part, I think I have enough done and I'm happy with it at this point to go ahead and get my final fabric so that I have it and it's ready to go when I am ready to move on to the final project. As for the things that I want to tweak, I decided to go with a pretty basic waistband, but I think for the final I want to do a pointed waistband. I just didn't want to do that for the mock-up because it's a lot of work and I didn't want to do it. I was being lazy. I know. I also think that I want to narrow this front panel a little because with these kind of skirts it's supposed to hug the front but then like kind of poof out in the back, and I just think that the front panel is a little too wide around my hips to be able to hug it the way it should, which is strange. I feel like that is never a problem that I have, ever. Of course, I need to put in some sort of closure in the back, but I didn't really care to do that on the mock-up. For the final version, I'll probably use hook and eyes, which is going to be tedious and awful, but I think that will be the best bet. Either that or some sort of like hooks where I can lace it and then I can maybe make it wider or smaller. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I don't think it's going to change the back enough to warrant me playing with it on the mock-up. Am I going to regret that decision? Possibly. Now on the mock-up, the skirt doesn't poof out quite as much as I'd like it to, but it's also a very thin fabric and it only has 2 layers on that bottom portion. So I think with the final fabric, which is going to be a thicker fabric, plus the lining fabric and then some sort of interfacing or like extra fabric around the bottom, I think it'll poof out just fine. So overall, I'm really happy with how this process is going. It's actually quite fast. I thought this would be a more complicated project, but it's really just a very large parachute of a skirt. The main problem is going to be how much the final fabric costs. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye for now. Go ahead and leave a comment below, like this video, or even subscribe. Stay sane, stay safe, and stay healthy, and I'll see y'all next time.